Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kelly Anderson, and I would like to welcome all of you to ISS Group's Business Process Improvement Demonstration titled Improving Financial Process Controls. In this 30-minute presentation, my colleague Mike Markowitz will demonstrate how our process digitization methodology, along with our business process improvement solutions, can significantly improve your control over financial processes, such as your credit limit changes, requests, CapEx requests, price changes, supplier address changes, just to name a few. We can apply this methodology to literally any financial process you may have. We'll show you just how this is accomplished in this short 30-minute session. Should you like to see more of our solutions in greater detail, please contact us directly or visit our website at www.issgroup.net. With that, I'll pass over the demonstration to Mike to begin. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Kelly. My name is Michael Markowitz, and I will be demonstrating the iApprove business process solution from ISS Group today. To start with, I just want to give a description of what iApprove is. And iApprove is a software that allows an organization to build data collection screens, route them for approval, and then perform an action when approved. For example, send an email, or update QAD, or your ERP solution. Now I'm going to go into the system, and we're going to start from just the login page. So this is the iApprove login page screen. What you would do would be you would put your username in, you would put your password in, and then you can pick a domain that you would like to log into. Where you click the login button, and you end up within the ISS Group iFramework solution. So what iFramework is the foundation of what iApprove runs on top of. So as you can see, there are different menus on the left-hand side. This is an iFramework solution that creates these menus. When we want to go into an iApprove screen, we would click on one of the iApprove solutions that we built for other customers. We are going to use credit requests today as our main focus. So let's go and talk about iFramework for a second. iFramework allows us to build screens that all function similarly, and they all look and feel the same. So, for example, you'll notice that there are tabs that run across the top of the screen here. You can have as many tabs as you'd like. These are all built using the iFramework solution. So I can click on the Credit and Sales tab. I can click on the Approval History tab. We're going to deep dive a little bit further into the Approval History tab. So I will get back to this later in this demonstration. So we'll go back to the header or the account data. And you'll also notice that there are buttons that run across the middle of the screen here. These are iFramework buttons. You'll notice that the bottom of the screen is called on this credit request form, it is called the Credit Increase Requisition Browse. But this browse is exactly the same no matter how many different iApprove screens we can build for you. You'll always have this browse on the bottom. You'll always have the account, the tabs along the top, and you'll always have the iFramework buttons across the middle here. Now, what you also will always have are these buttons that run across the bottom of the screen here. So you can choose how many you would like to see on the scroll of the browse here. Okay, you can also refresh the screen. You can change the columns. So I can add more columns, I can remove columns. It's all based off of a user also. So all of these settings down here are user-based. So every time I log into the system, it will be the way I have set up the screens. Whereas another colleague of mine might have it set up differently, And whenever they log into the system, it will be the way they have set up the screens. And then you have the search criteria. You can do group and ORs to search through all these credit requests. So these are all functionalities of the iFramework solution. That is the foundation for the iApprove solution. There's also these buttons that run across the center. So obviously you can create a new iApprove requisition. You can copy it. You can create notes, and you can do audit. So let's go into notes for a second. We'll use this, we'll go to this notes, and we'll click notes. And if I enter a note, so this note is from 10/8/14, let's say, and I click save. What happens is it enters a user date and timestamps this. So you'll see that Frank added it on Wednesday, October 8th at 10:54 a.m. Now you can also create notes. This is an internal note. And you can click the checkbox here and click Save. And now this note will only be for internal users. This note right here on the top. The bottom note will actually, the customer can see these notes. These are called external notes. I can also edit the note if I'd like to. I can close this whole section if I'd like. If I go back into the notes, it will still be here. And I can also do the same thing with attachments with these notes, and it will also user, date, and timestamp when I attach something to this credit request. Let's close this. And let's talk about the audit trail. So if I click on the audit trail here, you'll notice that, so I just added notes to the system. So here's the right audit trail to the notes that I added. And I created the note also. So I created this. So here's all of the audit fields I did for this specific credit request. The audit works throughout the whole system on any field in the system, so anybody can, well, not anybody, people who only have the rights will be able to see these audits and be able to track what the users are doing within the system. You can then, you also then have these custom buttons, okay? And the custom buttons allow you to print out of QAD. You can add as many custom buttons as you like. It's all based on what you're trying to improve in your financial processes and what kind of fields you would like on the screens. So, on that note, we are going to move to iApprove. Now, again, I will say the iApprove solution actually sits on top of the iFramework foundation. What the iApprove adds is this section on the top here, which gives you the approval information. What's the status of this credit request, the requester, and the entry date. Now, understand that this credit request that we're showing you is just an example of what another one of our customers was looking to do within their organization. These are just examples. These don't come out of the box like this. We actually build the forms for you in order to improve your financial processes based on your requirements. What is also added for the for iApprove is the submit button. Now, if I go to a pending rec, you'll notice I have a retract, approve, or reject button also. These are all based on iApprove buttons. Again, iApprove does sit on the iFramework foundation. So these buttons allow you to do the approval process within the iApprove system. So what happens would be a user would come in here and create a new credit request. So if I click New here, we would create a new credit request. I click the division. I can go search for my supplier. I mean my vendor. I click on that. I have terms. I can put in a new credit limit. Let's say 2,500. Oops, I did 25,000. Use. I can do the collector code. What I can do now is I've added more fields to this form based on what the customer's requirements were. What these forms do is allow the approver to approve this credit request based on the data that is found here and the data that's on this section of the form. When I click the Save button, what happens is you'll now have an approval once I submit it, you'll have an approval history. I click Submit. The process is successful. I can then go look and see what my approval history is. Okay. So now I would like to discuss the approval history. Now, approval rules within iApprove are created based on an administrator. They are your approval rules. You guys will set the approval rules. If you need help setting the approval rules, we will help you with setting up the approval rules based on your requirements. What I wanted to show now here is there's different levels of approvals. There's different types of approvals. So for example, there are sequential or simultaneous approvals. So sequential means that, as you can see, there's a column here called sequential, or SEQ, which means sequential. This places the approval rule in a specific flow. So the first person, or the level 100, will be the first person who has to approve this requisition. Okay? Now, when the user submits this form, an email will go out to Scott Carpenter. He will then have to approve this requisition. This credit increase requisition. Once he approves it, it will then move to the finance group. Now, this finance group will have to approve second, and they will get the email after Scott approves it. That is sequential approvals. Now, there is something called simultaneous approvals. And what simultaneous approvals are is two people can have the same level, so they would both have to approve the requisition at the same level. Once both people approve it at that level, then it will move to the second level, or the third level, or the fourth level, and you can have as many levels as you like in your approval rules. As you can see, this can improve your financial processes because they will automatically be notified about that they have to approve a requisition or a credit request, and this helps move the process along. You know, you don't have to hand a piece of paper or walk to the other side of your office. It all happens automatically within the system. You do have an instance, though, that you can create a rule and the approver can be a group of approvers. At that time, as you can see as level 200 here, the finance group has to approve this credit increase. Now, in this credit increase, you can see you have Jim Burge, you have Alex Chen, Bill Combs, and Frank. Now, you'll notice next to Alex Chen, he has a little boat. And what that means is that he's out of office. So when he went out of office, he picked a delegate. His delegate is Bill Combs. So when this email notification went out, it didn't go to Alex Chen. It went to Bill because Bill is approving all credit requests for Alex while he's out of the office. Now, in this credit request, this one has already been approved. And the way you can tell is, first of all, you can see that the actual approvers here are Scott Carpenter and Jim Berg. But also you'll see that the status, is green, which means approved. So Scott Carpenter's approved and the finance group approved, or one person in the finance group approved. That's all you need. You don't need multiple people in the finance group to approve. Now, in a pending requisition, this is what you would see. So this you could see is that this is green, so the first level is approved, but the group has not approved yet. Now, since I am logged in as Frank, I can now either retract, approve, or reject this credit request. When you reject a request, you have to give a reason for why you're rejecting it. Now, you'll also notice that there is a drop-down here on the top left-hand corner. This drop-down shows you how many approval attempts there has been. So if I change this from this is the second approval attempt. I'm going to change it back to the first approval attempt. And what you'll notice now is the status is blue. And what blue means is that the credit request was retracted. Sorry. If it was rejected, the circle would be red. Now this allows you to see, allows other people that have access to the system to see what is going on with each credit request based on this example of I approve. Now, there are other examples that I'm going to show you of I approve. I'm not going to walk through these, but I wanted to give you an idea of what other things that can be done with the I approve system. So, you can go to supplier payments. So, we built a screen here for supplier payments. Now the supplier payments, this is when you want to pay your suppliers, this will actually show you the invoice number, the invoice date, the vendor, the email date, the supplier email, the question type. Now again, these fields are just these are just the fields that the customer requested. They're just examples. You can place whatever fields you want, whatever tabs you want across the top, whatever other data you want within those tabs. Obviously, the approval history tab will always be here, okay? And you have the ability to, like I said before, retract, reject, approve, build approval rules, just based on this type of I approve example. If you could see an approved requisition, see this one had 4 attempts. There's 2, there's 1. You can have as many attempts as you'd like. You can approve, reject, retract as many times as you need be to get one of these examples approved. Another example we had was a new supplier. So within your ERP solution, you can add new suppliers. Well, here you can add a supplier to this system. So what the advantage to doing it within the I approve solution is that you have an approval history and an approval routing, where most ERP solutions do not have the approval routing capability of I approve. And again, this is how it improves your financial processes, is because you automatically or electronically or digitally have an approval process instead of using paper and manually approving these processes, or these credit requests, or these supplier payments, or a new supplier, or any type of request that you may need approved within your organization. Okay? And these are just other examples. So if we go back to the main tab here, these are the fields that customer wanted to have update their ERP solutions. Again, you can have many, many fields on this screen. And most ERP solutions have many, many more fields than just these, let's say, 10 fields that we're looking at here. Now, one of the last features I would like to talk about within the iApprove solution is the approval queue. And what's nice about this is when an approver logs into the system, they can click on this approval queue, and it brings up a screen here. And what this screen does is it lists all the different requisition types you have that you're an approval for and gives me a count of how many I have to approve. So here's the credit request, I have one. I have a new supplier, I have one. So we had other examples, AP data change, new item request. So it makes it much easier for the approver to come into the system and just see what they have to approve, based on what iApprove's example you are using. Now, as you can see, one company can have multiple iApprove screens created for them. So I can have all of these screens created for me within my organization. So iApprove can work on multiple different aspects of approval routing within your organization. All the user would have to do is click on it, and now it brings you to the credit increase that I have to approve for. And that's how simple it is to use the system. It makes the approval process much simpler, cleaner even, within your organization, and traceable by higher level employees within your organization that want to view all of the audit information about a specific, let's use credit increase requisition. On that note, that ends our demonstration today of the iApprove solution. If you have any other questions, or if you would like a one-on-one demonstration of this product, please do not hesitate to either send an email to Andy or Kelly. Here are their emails. You can call any of us, Andy or Kelly. Their numbers are listed here also. Or you can send an email to sales@ISS Group, and multiple people will receive that email, and someone will get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed our demonstration of iApprove and iFramework today. Thank you for joining us.